In this installment of Munchkin Land, we're going to take a look at 5 Minute Dungeon. It's a brand new Kickstarter campaign that may be worth checking out. There's a brand new Kickstarter campaign that's going on right now for a game that I think you'll really enjoy. It's called 5 Minute Dungeon from Wiggles 3D and creator Connor Reed. Now, this is a game that is really a lot of fun and is going to be super frustrating because, as the name of the game implies, you only have 5 minutes to complete the dungeon. How does the game work? Well, you have 5 different characters that you can play, or really 10 different characters that you can play, but you're really using the same deck for each. You can be a barbarian, or a gladiator, a huntress, or a ranger, a ninja, or a thief, a paladin, or a Valkyrie, or a sorceress, or a wizard. So it just depends on what character you want to play, and you use that mat for that. Now, with each character that you create or character that you pick, you have a corresponding deck. And this deck has all sorts of things like swords that you can fight with, magic scrolls, shields that you can do, arrows and things that you can shoot. You have running items, and then you have multiples of these things. And then you also have some specialty cards that will let you do different things depending on what character or class that you've selected. So you have 5 different decks that you can choose from: red, green, yellow, blue, purple, I think. I don't remember all the different colors. But you have 5 different decks that you can use to fight the monsters or fight the dungeon as you work your way to the monsters. So the dungeons have all sorts of little monsters in there that you have to defeat. And the way that you and your party or your fellow companions do that is you have to match the symbols on the monster. So for example, if you have one sword and another player has one sword, you can both defeat this monster, and so on and so forth throughout the entire deck of 20 cards that you play for your dungeon that you're running through. Once you complete the dungeon, and here's the thing, if you don't have a matching card and you can't find a matching card between all of your players, you lose the game. So there could be some simple monsters in here that can be very, very challenging, but it's still fun for you. And the game is really designed for 2 to 5 players. You can do this with as little as 2, in which case you combine a couple of different classes together, like a wizard Valkyrie, together to create a new character class. And then you combine those decks to make it work a little bit easier, and so on and so forth. It's fun until you get to the boss. And then depending on what boss you are playing, you have a whole bunch of different symbols that you have to match in order to defeat the monster, the boss monster. So we have the baby barbarian, which really is an easy character to defeat. The Grime Reaper gets a little bit more spell heavy or scroll heavy. Zola the Gorgon, a little bit of everything on this one. And then a freaking dragon is another one. A lot of shooting, a lot of running to get this beast taken down. And then finally, you have the Dungeon Master. And if you can defeat all of these, you will win. Now, you can play this game taking on a single boss, or you can try to do a campaign where you're taking on all of the monsters one at a time in between. But here's where the real challenge is. A part of this, to me, when I first heard about it and first played it, I was like, oh, this is kind of like the other game Uno, where you're matching specific symbols and everybody can match these symbols to try to defeat the monster. Here's where it gets really complicated, and here's where the twist comes in. You only have 5 minutes to complete the entire dungeon and defeat the boss. So that means that you and your friends that are playing this game are rushing to complete this. And it may seem like a simple challenge, but when you are dealing with let's find a good monster here. When you're dealing with a collapsed ceiling and you have a sword and 2 scrolls that you have to get through, and no one in your party has those symbols, it becomes super, super frustrating. Or some of these monsters may be just a bit of a challenge in themselves. Good thing is, though, each of your characters has special spells and abilities that can allow you to get by certain instances. For example, the Gladiator has an Intimidate, which means that you can discard 3 cards to defeat a person. Not an event, not an obstacle, but 3 cards to discard to defeat a person. So if you get up against an angry monster, for example, let's say you're going up against a goblin, you can defeat him by discarding 3 cards. And each character has a different ability that you can use. Now, it's the same for both. So if you're playing the Gladiator, the Intimidate is the same for both, even though they have different names. For the Gladiator, it's Intimidate, discard 3 cards. For the Barbarian, it's Slay, discard 3 cards to defeat a monster. So monsters, persons, they're a little bit different, so you do want to check those out as you go through. It's a fun game from the mechanics side. It's a fun game for your friends to play. I think one of the things that will interest you, our Major Spoilers fans, is the art. The art is by Alex Diakon, and if you have not seen the art before, I'm going to bet you have, especially if you're a Munchkin Land viewer or listener, because a few years ago, we were developing a critical hit expansion for Munchkin Land that you can get if you're a VIP member or a Patreon member at patreon.com/majorspoilers. All of the art that was designed for that mini expansion for Munchkin Land was designed by Alex. If you are a VIP member and you're getting your art every month, or if you're a Major Spoilers VIP member or Patreon member, you have access to special art, and Alex has designed a lot of that art for us. So from the art side, and one of the reasons why I want to support this is because I want to support Alex. I'll say that right up front, because I think his art is really, really cool, and to have that in this collection and designed on the box is super neat, and I'm super proud of the work that he's done, and I'm kind of jealous too because it's super awesome, and you're getting a bunch of it in 5 Minute Dungeon. So, beyond the art fact, and maybe that's why some of you want to support this as well, I have a lot of fun playing this game, and I think you will too. And so you can go over to Kickstarter right now. The campaign is going on. It kicked off on the 1st of November, so depending on when you're watching this, you still have time to get in there, and you can get a copy of this game early and so forth. I think it's a good game. It's a fun game. Everyone that has played it has had a lot of fun. And so I think that this is something that I would give a thumbs up to, regardless of my connection with Alex or Major Spoilers' connection with Alex and this game. I think it's a Kickstarter that you should really check out. It's 5 Minute Dungeon from Wiggles 3D, and Connor Reed and Alex Diakon and a bunch of other people I'm sure put this together. But go check it out on Kickstarter. You can go find it just by looking up 5 Minute Dungeon. I hope you enjoyed this look and this kind of overview of 5 Minute Dungeon. If you have any questions, use the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter at Major Spoilers, and make sure you visit our website, majorspoilers.com. Thank you for listening and checking out Munchkin Land each and every week, to the thousands of you who are doing that. I really appreciate that. And until next time, take care.